Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
I'm not telling you that it's impossible for the Eagles to get a victory on Sunday afternoon against the Seahawks, but what I'm saying is, after what I have seen so far this season, I would be a fool to think that these wide receivers can automatically start making plays and for this offense to move down the field with ease. I haven't seen it so far this season at a consistent rate, so I can't expect it to happen. Before we dive more into this game, do not forget about the promo code BROADS that you can use at SeatGeek's checkout page when buying tickets. $20 off. You can use that money towards parking, beer, food. It's a no-brainer. Use the promo code BROADS today. The only thing I can say, which I hate using this, but it's reality, the only thing I can say is any given Sunday, logically, when breaking down this game, that's all I can say when trying to describe how the Eagles can get this victory. Lane Johnson, out. Concussion. Andre DIllard going to the right side. Something I never expected to see based off of what the Eagles have told us in the past. But I don't feel great about this, and here's why. Andre DIllard was asked about going to the right side, and he responded by asking the reporter what hand he writes with. The reporter responds, my right hand, I'm right-handed. So Andre DIllard says, try writing with your left. I don't have confidence that Andre DIllard feels great about this. Now I'm more concerned about the right side. If Andre DIllard walked up to the reporters and said, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to give it my all, I'm ready to battle on that right side, I would have some sort of hope that he'd be able to go out there and dominate. He's explaining how brutal and how hard it is to make that switch. Now, I'm not saying that it's not. It definitely is. There's a reason why left tackles are left tackles and right tackles are right tackles. It is a big-time difference. It seems like it wouldn't be from an outsider's perspective, but it truly is based off of footwork and hand placement. But with his response, it doesn't give me this feeling in my stomach that he's going to go out there and completely dominate that side of the line. Because he's explaining how brutal and how hard it is to make that change. Carson Wentz needs to be better. We all know this. A couple guys are questionable. Alshon Jeffery is questionable. Nelson Agholor is questionable. And Jordan Howard is questionable. What is Nelson Agholor? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If he's in there, if he's not in there, how much does the offense change? It's bad either way. Alshon hasn't been good. Now, he's better than what we have just based off of his career and being a veteran. He's dropped plenty of balls this season, but as a whole, he's really your best option, and you need him out there. Jordan Howard not being able to go. Apparently, this stinger is causing him some problems. If he's not able to go, this run game isn't nearly as effective as it needs to be. Ajayi will be in the mix more, I'm sure, because he now has time to practice with the team and get some reps. But how much of Ajayi are we going to be able to see? Carson Wentz needs to be better. This entire team needs to play better. Doug Pederson needs to be better. Screen passes were working left and right early against the Patriots. Then we got away from it. Miles Sanders wasn't nearly as good as we needed him to be in the passing game. Did Carson miss some chances to hit him? Did Doug Pederson not draw up enough plays? Did Bill Belichick focus on Miles Sanders in the passing game? They're all reasonable questions. Definitely. But I need to see more of Miles Sanders, specifically in the passing game. Let's talk about defensively. Defensively with this team, they've been playing with some swag. Jim Schwartz has done a great job He really has. He's done a phenomenal job so far with this defense. Even early on when everyone was screaming for his head, I always thought he did a tremendous job with the lack of talent that he had, just dialing up blitzes, giving different looks, trying everything he possibly could. You can only do so much when the talent is that abysmal. But now that he has some talent back on that side of the ball, things are looking better. Grugier Hill had a nice game. Now you're getting Nigel Bradham back. The tough thing is you're going to have to keep Russell Wilson in the pocket, I guess you'd say. Because once you let him out of there, he makes damage happen. He escapes. He uses his legs. He thrives. You're going to have to put a spy on him and hope for the best. He's going to make plays. He's an MVP-type quarterback for a reason. He's going to make plays. He's going to shred your defense. It's limit him to those plays. He has DK Metcalf out there running full speed. Tyler Lockett, Pete Carroll stated he hopes he's going to be able to go. But we know about their connection. This is a true test for the defense. They've been playing hot football as of late, but this is a serious opportunity to make a statement defensively. Will the defensive line be able to get pressure? Well, if they do get pressure, what will they do with Russell Wilson at that point? Because you can get pressure and rush him out of the pocket and rush him to the sides, but then what happens? That's where the defense is going to have to be able to make plays and understand they're going to have to do something in that moment. They need to plan for those moments because it will happen. It will happen. Let's not forget about Carson either. And I'm talking about Chris Carson, that is. He somewhat goes under the radar because of how powerful Wilson is with his legs and the bombs that he throws to those receivers. The Eagles do a great job at stopping the run, the traditional run, running backs. But it's a whole new ball game now. Russell Wilson's strengths just change everything in terms of the run game. Statistically, the Seahawks are very good and at the top of the league in the run game. But once again, it's not a traditional run game. And it comes down to Russell Wilson making plays and being obnoxiously talented. Seattle's coming off of a bye. So they had time to prepare. They had time to watch film on the Eagles. They had time to figure some things out. Pete Carroll, very respected coach, been around the game for a while. It's a scary thing. It really is. Now the money is clearly going towards Seattle. The line opened up around 3, and I thought that was interesting. How are the Eagles even favorites? And people have been hitting Seattle so much, the line has moved. It's down to 1. So the Eagles are favored by 1 point. While some look at that and claim, well, that's clearly a Seattle line, which it is. But because it opened up at 3 and people pushed it so heavy the other way, that means so much money is on Seattle to move the line to that degree. Maybe it goes in the Eagles' favor. Normally, when the public bets one way, it's the other. But that's me putting hope into something that doesn't really define what's out there on the field talent-wise. Seattle is a better football team. They have more talent. They're better. Now, thinking of something else that keeps me intrigued with the Eagles is not every single time, because I could argue against the Patriots. This is one of those times. But there are a lot of moments where you count the Eagles out and their backs are against the wall. And what do you know? The underdog mentality finds its way to squeak back in, and the Eagles come up with a big win. The Seahawks, though, they have been the kryptonite of the Birds. We can never find ways to beat them. Even during that magical 2017 run, what happened? What team did we lose to in the regular season? The Seahawks. They have our number. Now, maybe you can say that trend will continue, or it's time for the Birds to finally get a victory. One thing I'm not believing in is this clock thing, the internal clock, because they're coming from West Coast to East Coast and it's a 1 o'clock game, it's going to throw them off. I never really bought into that. I know it's real. I've experienced jet lag before, But these guys are professional athletes. They've done this many different times. And when you look up numbers, Russell Wilson still performs. He still is great. And that wouldn't be the difference in them losing or winning a football game here in Philadelphia. If they don't come out and play their best, and I'm speaking about the Seahawks, I don't think the blame game goes on, well, the travel really costed them this one. It would be because maybe their line didn't play well enough, or because the Eagles' defense was tremendous, or maybe J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has a dominant performance. Oh, comedy. Speaking of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, though, one thing I would like to see is put the ball in his hands. Put the ball in his hands. Let him be the first option. Whether it's a screen. They always run that screen with Alshon Jeffery. That never works because Alshon Jeffery looks like a 100-year-old man at times out there. Well, if J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is the clone of Alshon, why don't we try a screen pass for him? Just give him the ball. See, that's one thing even with Nelson Agholor. And apparently, according to Doug Pederson, when discussing Alshon and Nelson Agholor and their availability for this game, he said they are questionable, but trending in the right way, and they're going to have to play through some stuff. So they're banged up. Nelson Agholor can't catch a football to save his life. But if you throw a screen and then let him run 7 yards, that's using his strength. His one strength is speed. He can't do anything else, but if you throw him a screen, he can at least run 5, 6, 7 yards, and maybe, who knows, he can break through and get a good gain. I want to use that screenplay with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to get the ball in his hands. Maybe a Nelson if he plays, because he's not going to be able to do anything else. Now, there's only so many times you can run that play before it gets blown up. For example, when we played the Vikings, it was obvious the defender knew exactly what play we were going to run based off of running it before, and Alshon Jeffery got blown up instantly. Blocks were missed in front of him, I could argue, but that's not the point. To expect these wide receivers to get open and break out, I can't. I'm sorry. They might do it somehow, but to expect it would be foolish because based off of what I've seen so far this season, they will not. They haven't before. So how can I sit here and say, well, maybe the receivers step up? I think when you look at both rosters, one team is clearly more talented with more confidence right now. That's Seattle. There's more pressure on the Birds based off of having to keep up with the Cowboys and can't fall back to 5 and 6. Would it be? Would it be 5 and 6? Can't have that happen. There's a lot of pressure. Even though the schedule opens up for the Birds and they have the easiest schedule remaining after this game, they have the easiest schedule remaining in the NFL, there's a lot of pressure to get this victory. You're on your home field. You're coming off of a bad loss. Carson Wentz did not look good in his last loss. Will they be able to get the job done? Keep up with the Cowboys, stay up at the top of the NFC East, and give themselves a fighter's chance with the easiest schedule remaining in the NFL. Get it done. The big thing was win 1 of 2 against the Patriots and Seattle. That's all we asked for. You lose the first one? Okay, here you go. Make it happen. Make it happen. I saw that Clowney was questionable. See, here's a game that Howie Roseman might want to close his eyes for because DK might go off. If Clowney goes, he might dominate. 2 players that the Eagles were discussing on the other side. Clowney would have been a trade, and DK got drafted after J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Unbelievable. That draft pick is truly something else. Truly something else when thinking about it. It's ridiculous. I want to see this team go out there and compete and get a nice victory. It would mean the world to this fan base. Think about Monday's reaction if the Eagles find a way to win. It's week to week as fans. We react in different ways. You win this game, and everyone feels great looking at the remaining schedule. If the Cowboys fall to the Patriots, everyone feels even better. But if you lose, city's falling. What are we going to do? Is Doug Pederson the guy? One thing I want to see, though, not one thing. These are my main points. My main points. How's Carson going to play? Knowing and understanding the weapons are going to be garbage if Jordan Howard can't go, if Alshon can't go, if Nelson Agholor can't go. And yes, I'm even saying him because without him on the field, I mean, really, I know he's not doing much on the field either, but without him, is it even worse? I mean, it's such a brutal conversation to have. But you're going to have to rely on Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, who even Dallas Goedert has dropped some passes in big-time situations as well. But I want to see how Carson Wentz responds. I want to see Doug Pederson's game plan, and I'm very intrigued by the defense and how they are going to handle Russell Wilson. How are they going to handle these wide receivers? How will they handle this offense? Will the defensive line get pressure? I'm looking at Jim Schwartz and saying, all right, Jim, show me something. It's funny, I've hated him in the years past, and now I've learned to really enjoy. But he's making adjustments. He's trying different things. He's giving you different looks. It's almost as if he had to because of the talent, and now he's realizing, whoa, maybe we got something here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.